welcome back to the channel. In this video I want to talk about making up kits for other people. That's the general topic of it, but of course this is a little, like, everyday carry is very much personal, so making up an everyday carry or like a kit for someone else is a little bit not it doesn't make sense. But at the same time, you do know the people in your family, you know your friends, you know what they're doing. This kit, I am the one I'm talking about today. I made this up for my father. I know what he does, I know everything, his daily habits, and I've kind of gotten an idea over the years what his needs are with regards to a kit like this. So that's why I said I'd make one up for him, and then it kind of puts him in a position where he can then use the kit, add to it, take stuff out that he doesn't want. And I'll tell you a bit more about the kit now, because this is specifically for his car. So he's a farmer, and he's nearly 70, or he's over 70 now, but he's still, it's like farmers don't retire. So he's still quite a busy farmer. He's gone pretty much every day in his car, between animals, driving around the place, etc. I won't go into the specifics of a life like his. When I open up the kit, we'll talk about all the different items and why I've included them in it. But yeah, that's what I want to talk about in this kit video. And as I said, this is for a 70-year-old farmer who works outside all the time, and it'll sit in his car. And so when he's gone, if he's gone away from the farm, if he's gone away from the house, the farmers are often gone for hours of the day, miles away from home, and so having little things, because they're working with their hands, little injuries and things like that, would a little kit like this will help them deal with those things without having to come home, which could take an hour, or, you know, take time away from their day. I want you to think about that in regards to who in your life might benefit from having a kit like this. If it's your partner, or even your kids, or your best friend who's always asking you to borrow your phone charger, etc. And just to give them a little kit like this for themselves, because they may not have ever, like, their brain may not be able to think of this by themselves. Like we all, like, think about the bits that we could get and, oh, why didn't I bring that with me? But if you have a little pouch and you just give it to them and say, this is for you, and it's got all these bits and pieces in it that I know you're constantly asking me for, and stuff as well that you kind of think maybe they just don't know that they can set it up like this. But anyway, I do realise as I'm looking at myself, I'm matchy. It was by accident. All my other hat, the hat I wanted to wear today, is wet, and the rest of them are just all dog hair and stuff. So this is what I'm wearing. And I don't, like, back in the day when I was a teenager, matchy was all the rage. So let's just use that excuse, it's my age. So anyway, I'm going to open the kit, go through it, and I'd love some, if there's any comments or things that you think I've missed out of it, or questions about what I've put in it, or questions about kits that you're like, if you're thinking right now, oh yeah, I'd love to make a kit for my mother, who's always, like, she's always changing her handbags, and so having a little kit that she can transfer over similar to this. Comment, you know, DM me, send me a message, put a comment down below even, so that other people can see it, and I'll respond to it and give you my advice. And yeah, let's get on to the next part of the video. Okay, so first of all, well, whoops, pocket tissues. They have unlimited uses, and they're almost always gone. So 2 packets minimum. I think that's a phrase in EDC. If you have 2, you've 1, and if you've 1, you've none. So having 2 will at least guarantee you that you have a spare packet, and there's probably pocket tissues in nearly everyone's car anyways. And then this is just this is a rubble bag, they're called a refuse sack. It's good, very good, hard wearing. Now I will say, if you knew anything about my father's car, there is already about 20 of these in the car. Well, like animal feed bags. This is clean. The other bags are referenced to could potentially be dirty, so this is perfectly clean. So if you need to do something where the bag is perfectly clean, and this is the one to use to just put on the seat of your car or something like that to stop it from getting dirty. And then bags have a variety of uses. For example, the last time I gave someone a bag, they had a load of tools that they were using and they were left on the ground, so they were all wet and dirty and mucky, and put them into a bag like this, and it was strong enough to carry the tools and kept them clean, kept them dry, and kept the car clean. They were left on the back seat. So anyway, enough said. The bag and the tissues. This is a it's got a first aid kit on it, but it's not really a first aid kit. I think you'd call it a boo-boo kit. I'm referring to it as like a possibilities kit. That's another way to refer to it. It's just for some possibilities. This isn't by any means an EDC or an entire carry. Like I was saying, if you know farmers' cars at all, and if you don't, let me explain it to you. There's every single thing you could possibly want in a farmer's car, including a dog somewhere that hasn't been sitting in the car for 3 days. Like there'll be teaspoons, coffee cups, not the travel cups, just a regular coffee cup. There'll be tea bags, probably a bit of shopping from last week that wasn't taken out of the car, grocery shopping, Dawson syringes, medication for cows, calves, sheep, etc. Probably a lamb that's not well that needs to be taken home and taken care of, along with bags, ropes, chains, definitely everything you need to change, probably a spare wheel in the tire. The spare wheel that wasn't fixed from last week is probably still in there. Yeah, electrical stuff, anything you can think of, they already have. Like I know if I need a knife, I go to the door of his car and it's in there. If I don't have one on me, which I usually do, but in the worst case scenario, if I go to that lad's car, my father's car, I'll get anything out of it. But what I find him asking me for is stuff like this. So this will sit in the door of his car. It does have the first aid logo on it because it's the one I picked up. It was 99 cents. I got it in the discount store and it just worked for what I needed. And as I was saying, like with all of that stuff, they're going to get dirty. Don't put anything fancy in there. It's going to be trashed in a matter of time. So this is the inside of it. This is a tiny torch. Very unlikely that it will actually ever be needed. But say if he drops his keys, or if you're looking for something on the ground, money, I suppose if you drop your keys in the car, it's probably not locked. My experience with farmers is their keys are usually left in the car and the car is not locked. It's a little flashlight, can serve several purposes. We start on this side. Hair comb. Put a hair comb in it just in case he is stuck for one. Packet of matches. Packet of matches should be in everyone's car, and a lighter. And this lighter has pink duct tape on it because that's how I roll. Lighter work, I think it works, we'll find out. Yeah, there we go. A lighter and some duct tape on it. Farmers have endless use for duct tape. There is probably a roll of duct tape in his car already, but now there's more. And this is just a little backup piece in pink, just cause. A tiny scissors, small one for cutting up band-aids, etc. Tweezers, because when you work with your hands, he'll be out cutting firewood, splitting firewood, picking up stuff, brambles and branches and such like that, fencing and things. So tweezers to hopefully pull out, if he's able to pull out the thorns. And if I can get it to focus, that probably won't. It is quite a nice tip. I didn't buy these cheap. It won't focus for me, that's okay. They have a nice pointy tip on them because there's no point in using something. These aren't for plucking eyebrows. This is for taking out a splinter out of your thumb. Alright, it needs to point. And nail clippers. Something that constantly, I think they're in constant use when your hands are working. Like my nails are nice and short right now. Hands are not the cleanest. I am also an outdoory type person. Nail clippers, yeah. Useful for at least definitely tidying up your nails if you get a broken nail or something like that. I'm always getting broken nails. Farmers that work outside, especially if he's like away from home and he needs to, like he just, you know, damaged the nail. Clean up the nail, clean up anything around the nail with the scissors. And then we have plasters. This is my favorite kind of plaster fabric, sorry, is this long stuff. You can cut it to the length that you want and you can cut it to the shape that you want, and that's what the scissors is going to really help with the fur. And it's fabric as well, So it's good, it'll stretch and it'll stick, because there's nothing as annoying, like say you graze your knuckle like that because you're out working, building walls, graze your knuckle and then you're trying to flex, and the bandage, like those kind of plasticky things, they don't stick to your skin well enough. The moisture gets in and lifts them off and they just peel away. And then just a selection of pre-prepared, pre-made plasters. These are fabric as well, the little small ones, the dots, the circles, blah blah blah. But probably this will be the most used stuff you can get your hands on. And then what I have in here is the stitch things, I forgot what they're called. Paper stitches. Paper stitches? Yeah, for keeping a wound. I love these because they keep the wound open to the air to let it dry, and at the same time it keep it closed so it'll heal. That it just fine. Sometimes this is the best option for a wound. And then inside in the bottom you have Disprin and Panadol. Panadol is just painkillers, and Disprin is really useful. This was more put in here at his suggestion because the one thing he knows, you can give Disprin for someone if someone feels like they're having a heart attack. The 2 Disprin, it's very helpful for heart attack. Although I think it's 400 milligram for, so I think it's just 1 tablet for someone from my first aid training. For someone who's having a heart attack, just pop it into them. It's more just to have it in there. He's probably not going to be doing that. He's not first aid trained, but yeah, when you're up in the middle of nowhere and having little, like there's nothing wrong with having that in the car. And a first aid emergency bag, it's called. This is your like Mylar blanket reflective foil cover. The reason I'm including this is actually more to do with animal welfare than human welfare. They're not something I'd be relying on someone to, like, they might help you survive the night. They might help you be a bit more comfortable as you survive the night, but they have their pros and cons, which I'll get into in another video sometime, maybe to actually test it out and see if my prejudices are actually correct. But it's animal welfare, because if you have a sick calf or a sick lamb, or if you're driving along, you don't even have to be a farmer, but if you own a car, you're driving along a road and you see an injured dog, if it's safe to wrap them in a blanket, it can prevent shock, which will most likely kill them. And a sick cow or a calf or animal like that, when they're in a field, it might take them straight away home. You have to go get the trailer, wrap the blanket around them. And one thing, you'll be able to find them again because it's silver. But the second thing it does, it helps them retain lots of body heat. But again, I wouldn't like this to be my survival shelter if I were out for a night. Now, hopefully I'm never in a position where I have to say, oh yeah, I was saved by an emergency blanket. But they're just really convenient to have. So that sits in the back here, along with cable ties. Whoops. Now these are the cable ties for like tying your belt loop when it breaks. They're not gonna be what farmers use cable ties for. I'd say he more than likely has a pack of cable ties in the back of his vehicle already. But there's more there if you need them for anything, and they fit nicely into the kit. This is why I'm calling this like a possibilities kit, because it adds to what he already has. So he has his EDC, he has phone, he has probably not his wallet. If you're up on the side of a mountain, you don't have any need for a wallet. His phone, knife, I'd say his EDC is pretty comprehensive. Baling twine is another popular thing in any farmer's EDC. And then the last thing is these antibacterial hand wipes, because just like, so yeah, you want to, you know, you've caught your hand on something, you're building a stone wall and you've grazed your knuckle, cleaning your hands and then applying the plaster, tidy everything up. Just, they're just really handy. And I got these in the very small packs because I don't know anyone that actually uses a full pack of like wipes when there's 40 of them in a pack before it runs out. And also fits in nice and tidy into the bag. And just, yeah, I think, gosh, I'm already at the end of it. That's the full kit, and I'm calling it like your possibilities. It's a bit more than a boo-boo kit because there's stuff like hair combs, lighters, stuff like that. But it's not quite a possibilities kit either. But it's just a useful stash of stuff to pop in your car. And this might be something that, I don't know, this would work for pretty much anybody who isn't already kind of carrying a setup like this, where, you know, if someone is carrying nail clippers in their handbag, like my mother does, you don't include nail clippers in this kit. but in her kit I would probably include nail polish remover. Yeah, that would be interesting. I might create another kit for them. But yeah, this is this version of a kit. It is your Farmers EDC, I guess, a Farmers Plus EDC Plus, or just a car carry. I feel like anybody should have this stuff in their car at all times. A lot, because you know, cars can carry more than one person. So this is all kind of backup stuff for if someone else is stuck. Okay, so that was the kit. This is just going to sit in the door pocket of the car. I will make up my own version of these. What I actually have to do is just gather up all the items that I've shoved in all the pockets and like little cubby holes in my car, and consolidate them into a convenient bag. The matches and the lighter are there for various reasons. Cut a piece of rope, which is something he would do as a farmer. Farmers would do, they'd be cutting lengths of rope. Use the lighter to heat the end so it melts and doesn't unravel. It melts and then it hardens into a glob and it doesn't unravel. So that's why that's in it. But I haven't put anything like fire starters or tinder or anything like that in it. Probably because realistically the car is already full of that kind of suitable items, and he's not he wouldn't be of the mindset that I'm going to light a fire this evening. It wouldn't be in his remit unless it was a genuine physical emergency, grid down Armageddon style situation, and then, you know, it's free for all. But for just an everyday like lifestyle carry kit, that's what I've put in it, and I expect most of the contents will be used by the end of the year, and we'll check back in then and see. And thank you for listening to my talk today. I hope this kit has inspired you to do a little bit more thinking about what you can do for kits for people. Like, very economical setup, probably 10 euro for the entire kit. And I want to, with my channel, I'd love if you hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. I'm trying to inspire people to have more confidence to go out and live their lives by using these tools that we have. But for people who just are a bit intimidated or just not as confident, that maybe arm yourself with your EDC, have a utility torch so that you're not afraid of being out at night or getting lost or anything like that. Have what you need in it. Maybe you need to be using backup. Maybe you need to have backup power for your phone so that you're not afraid you'll get lost. You have access to maps. Yeah, just I want people to start to, through the method of arming themselves correctly. I don't mean arming themselves. I mean preparing themselves and organizing their lives, that they can live it to the fullest. So that's why I'm doing this. And if you're interested in continuing hearing me talk about these things, subscribe to my channel. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, that would be fantastic. If you did, thumbs up this video if you think it's a good video. And I will look forward to talking to you next week. Bye for now.